Hi, friends and family. So I've been receiving a lot of phone calls and emails and text messages about the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine trial that I've been working on. And I just wanted to make a little video to explain where we're at with the trial and how the vaccine actually works so you can all be well informed going into 2021 as to what we can expect out of the year as far as COVID goes. I'm just going to make this little video for you. So this is the Pfizer BioNTech mRNA vaccine. So Pfizer is the brand and BioNTech is a German company whose molecular researchers created the actual COVID-19 vaccine. And that vaccine is an mRNA-based vaccine. They called it BNT162b2, BNT for BioNTech. And what this is it's a modified RNA that encodes the SARS-CoV-2 spike glycoprotein, which is, it sounds like a lot, but I'll explain it. So basically what they found is that this is the genetic code for the COVID-19 gene. And this little region right here is called the S region. And what that does is it codes for this S protein. And what that S protein does is it forms these spikes on the COVID-19 molecule. So if you've ever seen a picture of COVID-19 in real life, like an actual molecule, you can see that there's spikes on it. And that is because this S protein was created. And what researchers found is that S protein and those spikes can be recognized by our immune system, and that's how we can form antibodies. So what they did was they made the vaccine that we are injecting our patients with from this S region of the gene. And how they did that is they used a thing called lipid nanoparticles. It's a new technology, but basically it's a dead particle stuffed with a bunch of viral parts of the virus's genetic material. So this is in green, this is the lipid nanoparticle. It's just like a purse or something. And then all these red things in here are the actual S regions of COVID-19's genetic code. So basically it's a dead particle stuffed with COVID-19. But not the COVID-19 that can make you sick, just parts of the COVID-19 that cannot make you sick or give you COVID-19. So then what they did, and also, which is really cool about the lipid nanoparticles, is that it's new, but you can actually administer them to pregnant women and people who are immunocompromised, which you can't normally do with a normal vaccine. So that's why this is really cool. Anyways, so what they did is they basically made a bunch of copies of this right here and made the vaccine. And so what happens is when our patients get injected with the vaccine, the muscle cells that are, in the arm, this purple cell here, I'm calling it the muscle cell, those muscle cells are now bound to the lipid nanoparticle that contains parts of COVID-19's, viral part. Not the viral part that can make you sick again, just a little bit of the COVID-19 molecule. So basically, once this muscle cell is bound to this lipid nanoparticle, the lipid nanoparticle releases its contents. So now the spikes of the COVID-19 molecule are now in our human cells, and the host immune system can now attack those spike proteins, causing the virus to lose the ability to bind and enter host cells in the future. So basically how that happens is over here in this cell, we have an organelle called a ribosome, this darker purple thing, and what that does is form proteins. So it can take the COVID-19 the spike protein, and create more proteins. So this cell is now populated with COVID-19 spike proteins, and some of those proteins can leak outside of the cell And when that happens, this is now in the tissues surrounding the muscle cell. So, immune cells exist here now. And so what happens at that point is that the immune cells, this black cell here, contain another cell called MHC2. And what those do is they present the spike proteins here in red. They present those spike proteins to the outside of the cell, which signals this other cell in yellow, the cytotoxic T cell, to come along and make a connection. And once that connection is made, this Th1 pathway occurs where essentially you get B cells and plasma cells, which create antibodies. And antibodies, obviously, you hear it in the news, like if you get COVID, you can donate your antibodies, stuff like that, to research. So your antibodies are what actually fight the infection. And at the same time that this ribosome in your cell is making more spike proteins, this other organelle called the proteasome, those chop the spike proteins up into little tiny bits of spike proteins. And then what happens here is your cell contains another kind of cell called an MHC1 molecule. And what that does is it presents it like MHC2 did in these special immune cells. And again, a cytotoxic T cell in yellow here comes and makes that connection. And with this cytotoxic T cell, this connection here signals the entire cell to kill itself, basically. So now your body knows that if your cell ever contains any S protein, any spike protein from a COVID-19 molecule, it's going to kill itself. So essentially that's another way that your immune system can protect you, is that if it knows it exists in you, to kill off that entire cell that, is affected by COVID-19. And this cytotoxic T cell also creates memory. So now if you get infected with COVID-19 in 2 years, it'll remember to kill the cells that contain the COVID-19 spike particles. So that's really cool. And so now basically your body has a memory of the signal to kill the viral particles from COVID-19, and that's what fights your infections later. And so that's why this vaccine could last a very long time. And now the immune system's trained, so it knows how to defeat the virus by attacking those spike proteins, and then it will immediately start making antibodies against COVID when COVID is present. So that's how the vaccine works. And as much as I can tell you from our interim analysis, I will. I can't tell you a lot of things that are confidential, obviously, but basically what is exposed to the public right now is that worldwide there's 38,955 patients enrolled in the Pfizer trial. And at UC Davis, the site I've been working at, we had about 250 patients enrolled. And so, with a clinical trial, half get the placebo arm and half get the actual treatment arm. So around 17,000 got the placebo arm, which is just a saline injection. It doesn't do anything. And then the other 17,000 got the actual COVID-19 vaccine. And what we found in our interim analysis, or what Pfizer found, is that total in those almost 39,000 cases, or the 39,000 patients, only 94 confirmed COVID-19 cases came up. So basically, well, that's not very many, which is really good. But of the placebo arm, 85 of the 94 cases, those were placebo. And then 9 of the 94 cases were the ones with the actual vaccine, which means only 10% of the 94 confirmed COVID-19 cases were treated with the vaccine that we're hoping works. So that means that this vaccine is 90% effective, which is really good because the FDA, one of their rules is that a vaccine can only be approved if it's 60% effective, and ours is 90% effective, so that's really good. And Pfizer also released some information that by the third week of November, they will release a safety data report, which will be submitted to the FDA. And the FDA's rule for the safety data report is that they need 2 months of data, and we have more than that. So hopefully the FDA works with us here. But basically, if we submit to the FDA and in the third week of November, the FDA is now the rate limiting factor in the fight for the COVID cure. So basically, the FDA can take however long they want to approve the vaccine. At this point, Pfizer's done everything they can, and the only thing holding up the process is the FDA's approval. So hopefully the vaccine will be ready mid-2021, but since there's not a wide availability of the vaccine, I think there's only 1.3 billion doses worldwide. They're probably only going to give it to people who are above the age of 65, are immunocompromised, or are healthcare workers for the time being, because people who are younger, like myself, who don't have any comorbidities, we can fight infections better than older people or people who have comorbidities. So it's kind of going to be an ethical dilemma of who we can deliver the vaccine to. But I think we have one, so that's really exciting. If you have any questions or you want to talk more, you can text me or email me. But hopefully this gives you a little peace of mind to, calm down a little bit. So have a good night, guys. Love you. Bye.